a 2022 Makes Review. I have a podcast here on YouTube, and it's really fun to just go through finished objects and works in progress and cast on plans and things like that. But this video is solely going to be about everything that I made in 2022. I am only wearing an object that I finished at the latter end of 2021, my muscle burrow hat that I've been wearing pretty much all year. I love it so much. But everything else that's around me, I finished in 2022. So I don't have any sweaters to show you other than the ones that won't be on my body, I guess. Because this year is the year that I dove into garment making for myself. It was great. And there will be timestamps in the description below for categories. So if you're only interested in sweaters, or if you're only interested in socks, or if you're only interested in, I think I'll have a hats category and then other accessories. Those will be in the timestamps below. I don't have everything with me that I made this year. I did a significant amount of gift knitting, but they're all kind of pretty similar. Several muscle burrows, a couple of porty hats, things like that. So let's dive in. I'm going to do sweaters first because they're my favorite. And grab your drink and we'll get settled in. All right, first finished sweater of 2022 is the Malwina sweater by Vert and Rose. Her name is Alex of Vert and Rose. You can tell I wear this pretty often because there's just pilling all over the place. I really like this yarn. I really like this pattern. It is a faux cable raglan increased sweater, so it's got this just really pretty design there, and then the lace on the sleeves is just beautiful. I didn't block it out as aggressively as I should have last time, but you can tell it's just really very pretty. I really like the big sleeves on this one. It is just really beautiful. And her patterns are just very feminine and fuzzy and great. I think after I blocked mine, it grew a little more than I wanted, or after wearing it a few times, it grew a little more than I wanted. So I went in and I did a little crochet slip stitch business around the collar, which actually gives it more of a cowl neck than the original pattern would direct you to do. So I don't dislike that. In fact, I've been wearing it like that, and that's fine. And I'll even tuck my chin in it a little bit as I'm getting colder. It's and I even went in and did a little sweater surgery earlier in the year to make the sleeves a little bit shorter. They were just folding in on themselves a little bit, which made me lose some of that lace detail there when it was folded like that. And that's a look, that's fine. And I've seen some of the people who've made this sweater do that. And it's kind of a fun drapey look, but I really like the bracelet length on this one. So that was the first one I knit this year, and it was so great. I'm not really going to do everything in chronological order, but this was an easy place to start. So I still really like this one. This is made out of Drops Nepal here, which is a 65% wool, 35% alpaca, worsted, I believe worsted weight yarn. I believe it's a worsted weight yarn. So at least it's a worsted weight sweater pattern. So it is just really cozy. I love wearing it with just a pair of jeans and some boots just to kind of soften that look up a little bit. It's very nice, and I've worn it a lot. And having it as my first sweater was really nice because it was just so cozy, and it encouraged me to make more of them. The next one I made was the pocket sweater by Minimi Designs, It has this pocket here. You can make it without the pocket if you want, but I thought it was really cute, the pocket that was there. This is a drop shoulder design, and you can tell again that I wear it a lot because there are just pills all underneath the arms and everything. I'm going to be investing in a really good deep pilling situation soon, because I had no idea that me just wearing these sweaters so well and loving them so much would pill them up so much. But I did want to leave the pills on the sweaters so that you could know how the yarn wears and what you would be into or not. This is shepherd's wool in the colorway berries, and I love the construction of this sweater. I've really liked wearing it. It's just a good cozy sweater. It was because of the color, I wore it quite a bit around Christmas because it felt kind of festive. And the one thing I did do is go back and tear back my bind off here on the neckline, add a couple more rows, and then do a stretchier bind off there on the neckline for it, because it was a lot easier to get on my head, especially if I had my glasses on for this one. There's not much more to say about this one. I did it to pattern because I test knit this one. A lot of my sweaters are test knits because they motivate me to get them done. But it also was a really great way to learn about sweater construction and what's expected of just your knowledge base for that. So that has been a really great one to have in my arsenal as well. The next one I finished is the By the Campfire Cardi by Unwind Knitwear. Now this is one of the first ones I actually cast on at the beginning of 2022, but it was probably the third or fourth one that I finished this year. I really like it. It's full of mistakes, but I love it. Blocking does a lot of work for it. It's knit from like where this line is, right? You cast that on, knit to the middle, then you pick up these stitches and knit the sleeve, and then you do the same thing over on this side, and then you put it together down the middle. I did a really poor job of making notes about what I did for the first half because I did make a few adjustments. And then on the second half, by the time I got to that one, I thought, oh, surely this is what I did. And it was not at all. So they are a little mismatched, the sides. And so when I block it out, I have to be a little bit aggressive, but that's okay. I also modified the back of this one. What it would generally be is just like that would be the end. That seam part would be the end, and then the ribbing would just kind of appear right here. But I connected all of that. You can see I made my own little kind of seashell shaped attachment here so that it would go up further on my neck a little bit. The fit of this one is not what I thought it would be when I started the pattern. I still really like the functionality of it. I like the color work in it. I've thought about making another one just because of what I know now. But I might just hang on to this one until I have a good, like one that I've done better. I'm not sure. You can tell that both of these sleeves are not the same width. They're just, both sides are different, and they both keep me warm though. So it was a real learning process, and I am really interested in how it would work if I did it again, because I think I would want it to be longer, which would mean I would have to modify it. And I think I have the skills to do that now, but at the time, yeah. Anyway, also it's knit in the round, so you steek the bottom of it. It's a really clever construction. So you steek the bottom of it, and then you add the ribbing on the bottom. So you can see where I cut my steek there, and then of course you just add your button band here on the sides. I had a great time with the steek. It wasn't nerve-wracking really, because there were clear instructions on what to do. And I did a crochet securing of it with just some black sock yarn that I had, so that it would blend in with this black here. I knit this with two shades of Let Lopi and a shade of Holzgarn held double. So this one is shade 0054, which I believe is light ash heather. And then I knit the black with the color Galaxy, and you can tell there's like all these little flecks of different colors in there, and you can tell why they named it that. And it's lovely because you're knitting in black, it's so nice to have that color variation as you're going. And then this green is Holzgarn held double in the colorway Tundra, and they just blend together so beautifully. I really am proud of my color choices for this one. Color choices are always kind of where I get nervous, but this I was really proud of. And yeah, I like the color. I liked the learning experience. I'll probably wear it forever. It's so nice to have, since it's all pretty rustic yarns. Like, you can tell this one hasn't, even though I wear it all the time, there's no pilling going on really, because it's very rustic. If I wear it when it's not cold enough to wear it, or against my skin, it's pretty itchy or scratchy or prickly or whatever rustic word works for you. There are non-superwash yarns that are very soft and very nice, but these are just strictly to keep you warm and dry, and they do a really good job of doing that. When I wear it on a day where it's like really drizzly, or there's like a high wind chill or anything like that, I am one of the happiest people in the group. Like, people will be shivering, they won't want to go outside, and I always think like, well, if you had a sweater like this one, you'd be fine. It was totally worth making and putting the time into that. Another one that I finished shortly after that I cast on earlier in the year, is the DRK Everyday Sweater by Andrea Mowry. I will put the yarns that I used for that sweater on the screen, because I cannot for the life of me remember one of them. And everything that I use is in my project pages on Ravelry, but I really like to have that information here on my episodes as well, just so that you don't have to go digging around if you don't have to. And also, if Ravelry isn't available for you, then you still can have the information. I really liked having a fingering weight sweater, or sport weight sweater technically. It was really nice, and because I held it with a Surrey alpaca, it was very warm. However, because I didn't know very much about round yoke constructions at the time, the fit wasn't quite right. I also made it a little more cropped than I wanted it to be. I thought about lengthening it, but instead I decided to give it to my friend, who actually wears cropped stuff much more often than I do. She gets cold quite a lot, and so I gave that sweater to her, especially since it was made out of superwash yarn, just as a gift. The other one that I don't have with me is the Phases sweater by Jennifer Berg. This knit was a delight. It knit up so fast. It's a DK weight sweater. It's a short sleeve sweater, and I finished it just like right before my birthday this year, and it was the perfect thing to be able to have with me. I also gifted that sweater because I joined in for the body too soon, and so the armpit was a little tight for me. So I initially thought of ripping back to the yoke and then knitting it through again. But the yoke is actually my favorite part to knit on sweaters like that. And so I thought, you know what? if I feel that way about it, I might as well just give this to someone it will fit, and I'll knit another one for me because I like the yoke the best anyway. Why would I deprive myself of that? So I'm hopefully going to be knitting another one this year. I really loved how it knit up, and just the eyelets and the color work and everything. It was really lovely, and I can't wait to have another one in my possession. Okay. This is the second cardigan I knit this year. This is also by Vert and Rose, Alex of Vert and Rose. This is the Ola cardigan. It's super beautiful. It's super soft. I just recently added the buttons. I finished the cardigan itself a while back, but of course those finishing touches are hard to get to sometimes. I am just realizing, I don't know what, I must have been sleep knitting for one of my rows here. Can you see this? Look, there's this little row here of like kind of almost ribbing. I don't know what happened. Anyway, if I didn't notice it till now, no one else is ever going to notice it. This is a saddle shoulder, a non-seamed saddle shoulder construction with this gorgeous braid all the way down the sleeve. I knit this in Juniper Moon Harriet Farm alpaca yarn in the colorway Tumbleweed with a strand of Surrey alpaca with it that was in the colorway Pearl. And so you can see this kind of marled situation going on there. I love it so much. It's just the perfect like grayish situation going on here. It is so nice. It is so soft and it is so warm. It is also pilling a ton. I'm sure you noticed me like trying to take some of them off here. That's just what I do in my free time now, is take pills off my knits. But you can tell that I wear it a lot. I believe with alpaca, since there's a longer staple length with that, once there is actually a stopping point with the pilling. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I do wear it quite often, so it gets a lot of wear. It is like the only soft cardigan that I own. So I'm looking forward to adding more cardigans into my wardrobe this coming year. Having two and then having a bunch of pullovers is interesting, because when you look at my bought clothes, there are like, I don't think I might have one pullover sweater and the rest of them are cardigans. So my knit wardrobe is quite a bit different. And that's not to say I don't use the pullovers. I do. But I know that I would use more cardigans. And so I've been ogling might be the right word. A lot of different patterns. Okay, and this was the last sweater of the year, and it may be my favorite. I'm not sure. I like it a lot. This is the Dad's Sweater by Emily Curtis. It is, okay, so it looks like just a basic sweater, right? Which is an upsell for me in the first place. But secondly, right, there are just these construction elements that are just so yummy. It's a top-down, right, construction, and you have kind of a set-in sleeve situation here, but you don't have to seam it in. You don't have to seam anything with this sweater. I don't think any of my sweaters, none of the sweaters I've done have been seamed. Maybe someday I'll be more sanctified and I'll do some seamed sweaters, but I'm just not at that place in my, I'm just not at that place. So this is a double folded collar, which I love the feel of. You can tell my hair is all of this because I wear it all the time. I knit it in shepherd's wool, the same brand as the pocket sweater, the red pocket sweater, but this is in the colorway denim. And I had two different colorways, and you can kind of tell maybe you can very tell, I don't know, where I kind of faded out into the second colorway, because I did the sleeves in the same colorway, but then I did like the cuffs in the second colorway so that it would kind of bleed together that way. I've just worn this so much. This is my only cropped sweater, but honestly, it hits me exactly where I want it to as a cropped sweater. It's like right there, right at that waistline. And it's been so nice to wear with skirts and high-waisted jeans. And I'm really just feeling the cropped sweaters more than I was before, guys. I'm 36, so cropped sweaters for me at 36 as a mom of 4, right? Like, maybe this is just me and my body image issues, but I didn't think they were for me. And now I know they are. And it's all thanks to the dad sweater. It's really great. I love the sleeve construction. It's just this kind of big old sleeve, and it's so cozy. Oh, I wear this, I reach for this way more than I thought I was going to. And I've been thinking about making a longer version in some shepherd's wool I have in green. It's just so scrumptious. And I'm trying to think if I left anything out. So this is sweater number 8 for 2022, which my goal for 2022 was actually to make 4 sweaters. My goal is to make 2 jumpers and 2 cardigans. And I made the 2 cardigans, but then I guess I made 6 more pullovers. So I don't know what my goals for 2023 will be in like the number that I'll have for that. But that's okay. That's okay. I overachieved this past year, and I am totally happy about it. And being able to have them at this point in the winter is so nice. I often am knitting for the season that I'm in, so sometimes I don't finish the project until that season is over. For instance, the By the Campfire Cardi, I did not finish until the end of March, I think. Maybe beginning of April of this past year. And of course, at that point, the hard parts of winter are over here in Indiana. But it has been so nice to have in December, and I know it's going to be even nicer to have in January and February when the hard parts of winter hit us. Okay, and I'm going to put a pairs of socks counter here because I'm not entirely sure how many socks I knit this year, and I'd like to know. So the first pair of socks that I knit were my tread heavy socks. They were a pattern that I released in January. I'm really proud of that pattern. It is a great idea, actually. And I knit the first sample out of a knitting Nakabi yarn, which is a non-superwash yarn. And I wore them and wore them and wore them, and they have just been wonderful. And then someone, I'm not going to name who, put them through the wash. It's the sin of knitters, isn't it? However, because they got put through the wash, they ended up fitting my son. So these are the felted tread heavy socks, and they're so cute, and he likes them. He says these are his favorite socks that I've made for him. So I'm not entirely sure what I should do in the future. If I should just knit socks for myself and run them through the wash once and then see if they fit him. I have no idea how to like replicate that experience, but he's just been wearing these out. You can tell on the bottoms here. He loves them. So I think he's a non-superwash sock guy. He just really likes these socks. So I've thought about making him another pair that aren't felted and see what his opinion are of those, if he likes those just as much or not. Yeah, I'm very curious. You know, my brain is just, I say my brain is a scientist at heart, because every time there's like variables that aren't concrete, I'm always trying to figure it out. So this was the first. I'll put what they used to look like up here. And I followed that recipe just pretty much with every sock that I've made this year. I made another pair of socks for him that were purple and green. That's what he requested, were some purple and green socks. And those were fun. I also knit the second sock for a few pairs of socks. So I just did a vanilla pair that I called the Brown Rose Marl socks because that was the name of the colorway. It was made in Patton's Croy sock yarn. And then I finished the second sock for the Snowy Day socks. Those were done in 2 colors. That was my first pair of colorwork socks. I learned a lot. The first try was just a whole tragedy. So I learned a lot during that. But I came out with 2 beautiful socks by the end of it. And then the other one that I knit the second sock for was the pumpkin spice socks. And the Snowy Day socks and the pumpkin spice socks are patterns by Katie Cars Knits. And you can find her on Instagram as that. And those socks are just so squishy and so good. They're lovely. I gave those away as gifts, and the owners of them really, really like them. Another pair that I don't have with me right now are my DK Weight Tread Heavy socks. That version of the pattern was released earlier this year as well, and those are just so scrumptious, but I don't have them with me anymore, and I am thinking about making another pair though because they knit up so quickly and they were so just fluffy and great. Another pair of socks that I knit this year are the Malwina socks. It's the same as the sweater by Vert and Rose. They are a similar lace pattern on the front there. You can see, even with the variegated yarn that I chose, that lace just pops right out. So if I had used a solid there, it would be even more so. These are for my daughter Janie. She loved them, but they have since been handed down to her younger sister. Probably every 6 months my kids grow out of their knit socks, and that is okay because I have 4 kids and they all really like knit socks. In fact, they're some of the most knit-worthy people on the planet. How much they appreciate the hats and the socks. And recently for Christmas, the mittens that I've made them, it's just been, they're just so sweet. I am hesitant to make any garments for them at all because of how fast I know they will grow out of them, but they're just so sweet about everything that I've knit them, and almost all of them have said, I just love the socks you knit, Mom. I love wearing these knit socks. And they truly mean it. They are affirming people and very sweet, but they're also just, they prefer the socks. They search for them. So it has this ribbing on the back, which it helps with the fit a lot. And then even though this is my daughter's sock and it moves through them pretty quickly, I still do my little tread heavy thing on the bottom of the heel there for her, because I want them to be able to be hard on the things I knit for them, because I want them to be able to use them. And this is a pattern by Mary of Maradiddle Makes. These are called the Birds of Prey socks. And you can see that stitch pattern there is just gorgeous. This color never comes out correctly. Oh, I forgot to say, this is in Sweet Georgia yarn in the color Strawberry Tea. And this is also Sweet Georgia in the color Summer Skin. And then this is just a little mini I have, a knitted Wit mini, and I forget what color the dark blue is, what colorway that is, but it was just a little scrap left over I had. These no longer fit my son. The width of his foot is too big, but the length of them is too long for my daughter. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I might just wait until her feet are a little longer to give them to her. They're basically, her toes are basically at the beginning of what the toe would be. So She's got a thin little foot, and so I think maybe I'm just gonna wait. I thought about tearing them back so they could fit her now, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna wait since they grow so quickly anyway. Oh, and one of the things I really like about that pattern too is this cuff, this cabled cuff. Like, this is a toe up sock, so she could have gotten to the cuff and been like, and then do a 2x2 rib until you're satisfied. But I think that is just beautiful, and she even has you do it different directions for each sock. Sorry, is that blowing out? Can you see it? For each sock there. That way, if you need them to be even, they can be. I really like touches like that. And then we got into summer sock camp, and guys, all through this whole period of time, right? So I knit myself my first pair of socks in 2021. I wear them out literally since that day because they were my only pair of socks. Then I knit myself my own pair of tread heavy socks. Then they became my son's. So I'm back to having one pair of socks, one pair of knit socks. So during summer sock camp, I was determined to knit some socks for myself, right? For myself. I did sneak in a pair of gift socks for my daughter, and they are now my son's socks because it's been 6 months and now they're his. These rainbow socks. They are much beloved. He's almost growing out of them also. And I'm wondering if I can even just like add on to them, like take back the toe and add some rainbow there. I don't know. I might just need to give them to a worthy small person. And then also I knit some magical toadstool socks. That pattern is by Stone Knits. Her colorwork sock patterns are just phenomenal. I love them. I loved doing this pair of socks for my sister. They're so cute. I want to make a pair for myself. But now that I've reviewed a ton of her patterns, I'm not sure which one I want to pick first. So there's that. But I did make myself a couple of basically vanilla socks because that's the mode I was in at the time. It's the mode I'm always in, to be honest. So this one is just you can tell I've been wearing these out. Man, that's so funny. This one I had to do a different yarn because I ran out at the very end there. This main yarn is Care Paravel by Amber Waves of Fiber. And then this is a mini that I had of some kind of forest green. But this has been through the washer a couple times. So actually this one has held up pretty well. But the green has faded quite a bit. But I wear them still. This is the pair of socks that I realized I like a longer leg. So after this pair, I started knitting my legs quite a bit longer on the socks for myself. Case in point, my strawberry tea socks. So you can tell that with my daughter's socks that were knit from the same yarn, right? These are a little more muted because they've been through the wash. I do let my kids' socks go through the wash quite a bit. But mine, I do try to wash in the sink and like just block them on my sock blockers because I think it's so cute. I just love seeing them hanging there. But these are strawberry tea socks. So this is strawberry tea from Sweet Georgia Yarns. And then these are just minis that I had on hand from Knitted Wit. Let's see if I can remember the color names. This is Spice Chai. This is Beaujolais. This is Black Magic. And this is Carnelian. Wow. I'm surprised I remembered all those. This is the Scrappy Stripey Socks. Notes from Kay Jones of the Crazy Sock Lady podcast. I really enjoyed doing the socks this way. They really did seem to knit up faster, and I like wearing them a lot. I still probably would have knit this leg longer. I was still learning more about what I wanted. And then the last pair of socks for 2022 for me were these, and I'm so satisfied with these. These are a Patton's Croy yarn, sock yarn, which I really like. It's just a really inexpensive, hardy yarn, and this stripe is a self-striping called Blue Stripe Rag, and then this is a black yarn of Patton's Croy, and it's just called Coal or Carbon. And these have become my new favorite pair of socks. They've got this long leg. They're very hardy, just like the first pair that I knit. These you can tell I've had to repair, and I've been wearing them, like literally wearing them out. So these are my new favorite pair of socks, but I am hoping that in 2023 I will have more favorite pairs of socks. That's what I'm hoping for in 2023, have more favorite pairs of socks. I also knit a pair of felted slippers for my sister this year. They were intended to be for me, but because the felting process was hard for me to regulate with my washing machine, they ended up being too small, and her feet are a little bit smaller than mine, but it's fortunate actually, because she is very much into wool felting, and so I thought, what a good gift for her, because then she can felt onto those slippers whatever she wants, and it'll be great. So that was an experience that I'm going to be trying again, just with a different pattern this time. And hats. Oh man, I knit 2 Basset hats this year. The Basset hat is from the Crea Studios. That end is poking out there. By Crea Dia Studios. It is so stretchy. So that ribbing in there just makes it so stretchy. My kiddos, I made 2 for my girls. Now they are being worn by my littlest daughter and my littlest son. You can tell I did slightly different colors there. One of them is made with an acrylic alpaca mix with a suri held with it, and then the other one is an alpaca silk, or no, baby llama and silk with suri. And it's really funny touching them both. The one with the silk content is so much cooler to the touch than the other one is. But these were so fun to make for my girls. They requested hats that would cover their ears so they could wear them to bed, so that they wouldn't hear their baby brother wake up and cry for me when it was time for him to eat at night. So that was a funny thing, and I didn't actually let them wear them to bed, but I did make it for them since they requested it, and they were very grateful, and it was very sweet, and they still wear them on really cold days. I made a series of Musselburghs this year as gifts. I made 2 for my friends Destiny and Noah, and then I made another one for my brother-in-law, but I didn't actually finish the bottom of it. I just modified it and put some ribbing on there so that he could have his hat for his birthday. I didn't have enough yarn to finish it out on that end, and I probably could have added just some other yarn to put on the inside, but I thought, you know what, let's just put some ribbing on here and it'll just be like a regular hat. So I did that. And then I made a couple of porty hats this year. I made one for my brother-in-law, a different brother-in-law, and that was his Christmas gift, actually from the year before. He got it in the fall. It took me that long to figure out how to get the right gauge for the yarn that I wanted to use. And then most recently, on New Year's Eve, I finished my husband's porty hat. The porty hat and the Musselburgh are both patterns from Ysolda Teague. They're so fun because you can use any weight of yarn, and she basically does the gauge math for you. So this one is his. Finally, he gets to have it, and it smells really good because I just blocked it. And he's going to a work weekend, construction work weekend this weekend, and so he keeps saying, are you done with it? Can I have it? And I'm like, no, I'm not. But he can have this now. This is a Jody Long yarn. It's in the Alba mix, which is a merino alpaca tweed blend. And this is in the colorway Gorse. It's got all these tweedy bits in it, which is really nice. And I knit this for the adult medium, but because he has long, big hair, I probably could have knit it to the large length. And I probably will knit another one for him for when he grows out of this one. And maybe then just claim this for myself. Or give it to one of the kids to wear too, just make it a family hat. I keep pulling on it because I love just the stretch factor on this guy. The decreases are really pretty too, the way that she has you do those. They're very straightforward, but they're very pretty. Or the increases, I'm sorry, because this is a top-down hat. That's one of the things I really like about it. So, quite a few hats this year. I want to make one for myself. I want to make another hat for myself. Quite a few, actually, that I have backlogged on my patterns page. Because I've just worn this one all year long and it's served me so well, but I would like to have a few more options than just this one. It's kind of like the sock scenario, but with hats now. Okay, and now we're kind of to the everything else category. I knit a jumpsuit for my little niece. Her name is Lilia, and this is actually a picture of her 2-year-old brother wearing the jumpsuit that turned out much bigger than I thought it would. So she'll probably be walking around in this thing soon, which will be great. I knit it out of one skein of the yellow and another skein of the brown, which is a cinnamon colorway by Earth Yarns. The yellow color is, I believe it's colorway 2 from Katie Carr's yarns, her Yurt and Yarrow's yarns. I thought I would have enough of the yellow, but obviously was very mistaken in my in my estimations. So it still turned out really cute, and I hope that, she'll be wearing it soon. It's probably still very big for her, even though she's 8 months old now, but we'll get there, right? We'll get there. And then I knit another pair of flip top mitts this year. I didn't add the leather to the palms like I did for my mom's, and I left the thumb as a fingerless thumb, and maybe an endless, fingertipless thumb. I don't know how to say that correctly, but I'll put a picture here if I can. I'm not sure if I took a picture of it before I gifted it, but those were a fun knit because I modified the cables on those this time around, and it was fun to be able to use my brain that way and make sure they lined up and everything on there to match the top. Another thing I did this year, which I don't know if I have a picture of either, is some sock tube headbands for my mom for her birthday and for my sister-in-law for Christmas. So I just took a sock tube and I cut it in half, and I took the two ends and then twisted one halfway and then grafted those together so it was a twisted headband that they could wear around, their ears. Both of them don't necessarily like hats a ton during the cold winter months, but they also don't like cold ears. So those were perfect for them. I still have a pink sock tube left, and so I'm planning on making some of those for my little girls. I think they would really enjoy those, and they're so easy to make. So if you have sock tubes around and you need to like figure out a quick gift or something, that's the perfect thing to do. Just Kitchener those suckers together and you are good to go. Another fun Christmas gift I made this year was the Fuggles Dice Bag by Cat Weaver of Heather and Hops. She has this pattern and it's free for a dice bag, and my sister is a D&D player, and so I made that one with, it calls for 3 strands of fingering weight held together. So that was really fun because it knit up so quickly and the cables were so fun, and she just really enjoyed it, and that was really nice too. And I've never knit anything like that before. It did call for a crochet magic ring at the beginning, which I did not do. I just kind of started it out as I would start a Musselburgh out, until I got to the stitch count of what it was supposed to be when you picked up stitches from the magic ring. I think in the future, if I do it again, I will take the time to learn how to crochet a magic ring. I don't know how to crochet anything other than like the like one stitch thing, right? Like do a chain or do a slip stitch for a neckline. I know how to do a provisional cast on with a crochet hook. Like these are the things I know how to do. Very simple things. So I think I would like to learn how to do that this coming year. Okay, 3 more things left. That's it. I knit mittens for my children for Christmas, and aren't they just the cutest things? These are my son's. He's 7, and oh my goodness, the ends are poking out of those thumbs like crazy. I knit these with a DK yarn from Knitting Nakabi. It's a BFL one, and then this is, I used all of it, so I'm having trouble remembering. It's an alpaca yarn that I held with Surrey alpaca as well. So this is a double thick cuff there. And what I'm going to do eventually is knit an I-cord and connect the 2 of them so it can go through the sleeves of his coat so that he'll always have them with him. Now the reason that this one has its little jogs on the side as you would normally see it, right? You can't really see it that well because it's on the side. And this one has them here is because by the time I looked at it on Christmas Eve when I was finishing the thumb, I realized I had knit 2 left mitts, and I almost cried. And I looked at it and I realized, okay, if I just undo the top of this, right, to where the decreases would be, and then shift it to where the thumb would be on the right hand, and then make my decreases like from there, then that'll fix it, right? And I asked my husband, like, is this crazy? Are these okay to give to him? And he was like, he will not care. Like, he loves everything you make for him. And I was like, okay. And I did, and he hasn't mentioned it at all. Hasn't said anything about it. These are the world's simplest mitts by Tin Can Knits. I did modify it to be a double thick cuff with a, so I started off with a provisional cast on to do that, but otherwise I just figured out how many rows I wanted to do my stripes and followed that pattern. Now for my daughter, I did these little fox mitts. Aren't they adorable? Oh my gosh. These are from Knits by Eva, and I'm already kind of training my kids about floats because she put her hand in here and she was like, oh, there's yarn in here, because there are floats just like in here. And I said, yeah, it's on purpose so it'll keep your fingers super warm because there's 2 different yarns in there. And she was like, oh. So that was really fun. I did this black in Hello Darkness by Stitch 2 Together sock yarn with a Surreal pack I held with it. And this is that same DK weight by, it's in the BFL base by Knitting Nikabi, and this is a Corriedale mohair blend also by Knitting Nikabi in the colorway Shroom. And then these little guys, oh my goodness, isn't it just the cutest thing? And then this, I didn't have enough of these colors to make another one, so I made a complimentary one of what I had left of these colors, and I'm just really pleased with it. I think they are so cute, and I plan to do the same I-cord thing with these as well. This last FO I'm going to show you, I actually finished on New Year's Day, and so I know it actually counts as an FO for 2023, but I worked on it so hard and tried to get it done on New Year's Eve, and it just was impossible. So I'm cheating, and I'm counting it towards the FOs of this video. This is the shawl by, oh no, my light just went out. Okay, my battery's running low, so we'll just try to hurry. This shawl is by Lyrical Knits, and this was the mystery knit along, the As You Wish mystery knit along, and these stitch patterns are all based off of things from the movie Princess Bride. And if you haven't seen that, it's kind of a cult classic from when I was growing up, and I love it. I think it's beautiful. I'm planning on giving it to my sister Emily. She's going to be down and out having ankle surgery in January, and I think it would be nice to be wrapped in wool during that period of time, whether she wants to bring it with her to the hospital or just during her recovery time. So that's crazy. I have finished so many things in 2022, and I'm really looking forward to what we can accomplish in 2023. If you made it to the end of this video, good job. This was a long one, and I really would love to know what your favorite make of 2022 was. Please leave me a comment down below so that I can look up what the pattern looks like, or even a link to your Ravelry project page or an Instagram post you have about it. I would love to see your favorite make of 2022. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.